Welcome back to another episode of Patient Conversations with Leah. Today is part two of a multi-part series that we're doing with Ashley. Ashley is a 38-year-old who has been diagnosed with stage 1 non-small cell lung cancer with the ROS1 mutation. She told us a little bit about her journey to diagnosis. It is kind of uncommon that someone under the age of 50 be diagnosed with lung cancer at stage 1 in an incidental finding, because a lot of times those of us under 50 don't feel symptoms because we didn't fit the criteria of risk factors until we are stage 4. So Ashley was one of those that was picked up sooner on an incidental finding. And today, what our little mini session is going to focus on is more like the mental and emotional feelings and health that comes around this diagnosis. So if you could just tell me, Ashley, a little bit about how you're feeling, where you are today, and then we'll kind of back it up a little bit and we'll maybe look forward as well.
I would say how I feel today is different from how I felt yesterday and how I'll probably feel tomorrow. I have weeks that are good, and then I have weeks that aren't good. And I have days that start good and then don't end good. I'm really trying to process all of this. And I think the thing that I keep coming back to is starting this journey with cancer at 38 with 2 little kids, and how unfair that feels, and also to have a diagnosis of lung cancer and never having smoked and being I live a very healthy, what I consider a very healthy and active lifestyle. So, some days you just feel really sorry for yourself, like, I thought I was doing all of the right things. How did this happen? I'm doing a lot of things to work through this. I've leaned a lot on the support of my family, friends, coworkers in this organization, Young Lung Cancer Initiative. So that is very helpful. One thing that I've really felt passionate about is not feeling pressured to find a silver lining in this. Even though this has created a purpose for me and a new passion in patient advocacy and awareness, I don't ever want to say, I got lung cancer at 38, but now I have a passion and a purpose. Like, no, I got lung cancer at 38, and also I have a passion and a purpose, because I feel like that idea of I have to find a silver lining in something bad, or I have to find a reason why this happened to me, actually creates more pressure and just more feelings of sadness. So I'm really trying to separate the idea that good can come from this, but I didn't get this for the good to come.
Right, I agree with you. I feel the same way. When been on this journey much longer. I'm 5 years from diagnosis, and I think things change, like you said, day to day, week to week, month to month, hour to hour even. And I think different times in your life, different things you experience cause different feelings. No one deserves this. And it's hard not to be like positive all the time forever. Everybody else wants to be, people don't want you to be down, or they don't want you to be sad. And I think the pressure comes from people around you to stay positive and like, I've got this. There's a lot of guilt that I feel around, why am I the lucky one that can live 5 years with this diagnosis, when there are others that have similar diagnoses to me and only make it a year or 2 years. I can only imagine maybe the survivor's guilt that you're feeling, or you could be feeling, as someone who's stage 1 versus all of us that you're meeting. The majority of people are stage 4. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, you totally hit the nail on the head. So not only do I have moments where I feel so unlucky to have cancer at a young age, and a very under recognized and unsupported cancer. But then when I go and try to find community, and it's a balance, because I feel very passionate about wanting to help this and raise awareness for this. And then also I have to take breaks from the content of it. I feel such guilt. Like, why did I get this random benign lump that helped me find this without any symptoms. When other people the same age as me or around the same age as me don't find it until it's advanced. And it's something I'm definitely still struggling with. And I think the way that I'm trying to work through it is trying to use the fact that I don't have to do all of this extra therapy and I have a better prognosis to try to raise awareness for those that got it diagnosed at advanced stages.
I think that's a very good perspective. I, as a fellow patient and someone who's stage 4, I don't think any of us that are stage 4 want you to feel guilty. You know, cancer is cancer. Stage 1 through 4, none of it is good. You know, none of it is what none of us wanted this. And I do understand why this would be hard and needing to take breaks from this, because even as someone who's been in this for 5 years, there's only so much you can listen to or read or hear. And it does get very depressing. Like your mind starts going like, is this what I have to look forward to? Is this what's going to happen to me? How can I help people? And I think you hit the nail on the head there when you said, being that you're stage 1 and doing well, that you can help advocate for those that are busier with their care or treatment or not doing well physically. And I think that's the gift in this community, is that we all have different roles to play and pieces. And we've talked about the Young Lung Cancer Initiative, and hopefully all of our listeners are familiar with who we are and what we do. But everyone in our group is either a caregiver or a person diagnosed with lung cancer under the age of 50. Young Lung Cancer Initiative is a year old. It's new. Those of us that started it felt this has been a need for a while, but I would love to hear your perspective on finding Young Lung Cancer Initiative at the beginning of your journey and having that support from day one, because most of us, like myself, I didn't even know anybody with lung cancer. We had to find our community on our own, and it was very lonely. If you could just share kind of how you feel about having that community.
Yeah, I feel, very welcomed by you all. I mean, just the fact that I have people to talk to. I mean, I was texting with Lindy last night because I've had this persistent cough. You just get in your head and you're like, is something back in my lung? I got pneumonia after getting the flu for my kids. So like, there's a very like reasonable explanation for my cough, not in addition to still recovering from a lobectomy. But you just get in your head, and it's so nice to have someone to text who's further out from the surgery and then can provide me with other ideas of resources. Like I was just ignoring my scars, to be honest, and the stuck feeling that I feel, and like someone to tell me, no, you can see a physical therapist and do massage and all of that. I mean, it's hard though too, right? Because then like the more you know, the more you have to do. And I'm like, okay, besides working full time and taking care of 2 little kids, now when am I going to see a PT? So it's a balance, like I remember the day I found out that I had the ROS1 mutation. I texted you, Leah, and I texted Lexi, who I met, and I texted Bianca, and you guys were so supportive and were able to tell me resources, but I just felt overwhelmed. Like as far as I remember just having to like put my phone away that night. So I think like in regards to mental health too, sometimes you just have to take a break from what you're doing. But yeah, it's been amazing to feel like there are people out there like me. I've met 2 other people who were diagnosed at stage 1, which was helpful too.
Yeah, I do know that community does help with the mental load for sure. I mean, you live a healthy lifestyle, and now your body is not cooperating the way you think it should, because like you said, you were doing all the right things in your mind. And how has this changed your kind of like your mental and emotional feelings around your physical body? Like, the connection between the mind and the body, and kind of where do you see that relationship now?
So every day when I look and I catch a glimpse, of myself, or I'm putting in my scar cream or my scar tape, and just seeing all the incisions that are on my body. Like it's this constant reminder, because sometimes, especially as a busy mom, like you can have moments where you forget. There are days where I'm like, I can't, like I had cancer. Like it happened so fast, right? The process started in July. I didn't get the diagnosis until September. It lobectomy in October, and my surgery, it's gone. So it's like, but yeah, when I see these scars, when I can't pick up the weights that I used to, when I can't be as active, um, it's really challenging. And I also have a hard time with the fact that this happened at such a young age, and fear of like, I lost half of one lung. Like, what does that look like long term? Um, and one thing that I want to say, because we're talking about mental health, is I did go on an antidepressant, and then after the lobectomy, I really struggled because I use exercise as a way to, feel good and get endorphins. And it's a big part of my mental health. And so without that exercise, and also I'm a pretty independent person, and I had to rely on a lot of people. I'm divorced, so I had people in and out of my house helping me. And yeah, so I didn't go on it until later. I wish I would have gone on it earlier, because it takes about 4 weeks to see the effects. And I even have a prescription for like another medication, Ativan, in case like that doesn't do it. I don't use it often, but I have. And that, was hard for me. Like I didn't want to need that help. And I'm so glad I went on it, because it has really helped take the edge off of all of this, and help me be more present and able to make just decisions about my health and all of that, without getting super anxious.
Yes, I totally agree. I'm there with you. I take something as well, and it's necessary at this point. Like, I do all the holistic things as well, but there is
Yeah.
something about, really prioritizing and acknowledging that I do need help with these feelings and emotions and this anxiety. So I do appreciate you saying that, because a lot of people don't like to talk about it. I talk about it freely. So I think the more people that talk about it, the more normal it will become and the more acceptable, and people won't think, oh, I shouldn't, this is
Yeah.
embarrassing, because it's not, it's just part of it. Well, I really think that our audience has learned quite a bit from you today, especially revolving around this not survivor's guilt, I guess, the stage one survivor's guilt kind of a thing. And I appreciate you sharing these raw feelings with us. I know sometimes it's not very easy, and especially since you're so newly diagnosed. Um, as I was saying before, we are going to do another part to the series. So up next, we're going to hit on some more advocacy items, and Ashley's pretty amazing. She's planned a fundraiser for Young Lung Cancer Initiative and has really jumped in with 2 feet. So we're excited to hear more about your plans for that as well. So thank you again this morning for joining us.
Thank you.